We did. It's pretty smooth too. There was not a lot of hiccups. So fingers crossed that continues.
Appreciate all the prayers.
We made it. Just 48 kilometers from the peak now. These porters are putting us to shame. Dad's ignoring pole.
Oh, he's running.
End of day one hike. It was pretty straightforward. It wasn't that many miles, not that much of an elevation change, and we fortunately had just beautiful weather. Nice amount of cloud cover, sun broke through periodically, the trail was relatively dry. Dad and I were just saying before we turned on the camera, it would have been brutal if it was raining on that first day. There were some steep up and downs.
It would be very hard on an older gentleman to make some of those trails in the rain, so I'm grateful for all the prayers and other good wishes for a good day. You certainly brought it about for us. And so they're setting up the kitchen and the tents, and we're sitting here in a well-deserved rest on a park bench.
Yeah, it only took about 3 hours to get here, so we've got a number of hours to kill in camp. We're not exactly having to rough it here in the morning. We got our own eat-in tent, and they bring us this huge spread. So it's just like army life, right, Dad? Starting day 2.
The plan is to walk and then walk some more.
It's true. He's not lying. So we are supposed to just walk on past Shearer Camp 1 and onto Shearer Camp 2, so that on summit day we will have a little more time to sleep and rest. It won't be quite such a rush to eat and try to go to bed, since we're waking up at like 11:30 that night. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be the longest day of hiking for us of this trip, I think. Yeah. Surrounded by some of these monster trees. Just one after another. Look at them go.
Ever higher.
Onward and upward. At first, Tanzania was looking a bit like Hawaii to us with all the tropical plants and all the flowering trees. Now we've got all this moss hanging off. It's looking like New Orleans to me.
Well, Sisyphus, I now feel, has nothing on us, and we've got a lot more to go. We're about 10,000 feet, which means we've got a little bit under 10,000 to go before the summit, but this morning has been up and down in the jungle, and we're heading toward what they call the surface of the moon, but they wisely told us to sit down, drink some water, eat a couple of biscuits.
Yeah, as much food as they've been giving us for breakfast, I was still hungry. And that downhill was steep. It was no joke. My knee felt it.
Yeah.
It's been like this for a while. We're making it, pole. We're on our way to Shearer 1. It was a steep uphill.
It's called beginning to climb the elephant's back.
And it felt like a climb.
It's a big elephant.
Yeah, it's not a small one. And we've got some ways to go, but we'll make it. We're just catching our breath real quick.
Yeah, we wanted to press on, but we felt like we had to give the guides a break.
That's what it was. The first stretch of flat land in a while, and it is a welcome reprieve. made it pretty high up.
Yeah, the camera can't possibly do that justice.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Part of that hike sucked, but it's getting better now. Getting a peek at the cliff. It's a decent amount of uphill, but we're gonna make it. Can't even see the top of it, it's all covered in clouds. We're at Cheer Camp 1, going up and over those bad boys there. Stopped to get a little lunch. We're on our way to Shira 2, and you can't see it anymore because the clouds are covering it, but the real peaks of Kilimanjaro are over there, so we're gonna hike for a few more hours, set up camp at Shira Camp 2. It'll be a little over 1,000 meters of total elevation gain today, but it felt like a lot more than that with the up and down. Isn't it, brother? Yes. And then hopefully get a nice rest. We got a lot of up and down in our future to try to get acclimated before we summit. We moved into a little bit more arid region. It's not surface of the moon yet, but it certainly looks a bit more like blooming desert around here. We can see Shira Camp 2 in the distance there. Home stretch. We made it.
Now in a prone position
We need a rest for a minute.
for a few minutes.
Morning view from Sierra Camp 2. Valley covered with clouds, except for the next mountain over. Kilimanjaro awaits, still a couple of days away.
So, beginning of day 3, you can see that we actually have a nice view of the mountain behind us here. The clouds have cleared. It's looking like a wonderful day for hiking.
It felt a little refreshed. Long day yesterday, but a good night's sleep. And so starting again, resiliency is the name of the game.
Basically a training day today. We're gonna do 10 kilometers, 1,000 meters up, then 1,000 meters down. Camp will be at the same elevation as we're at tonight. So it's supposed to help us get acclimatized to this altitude.
Alrighty.
Just getting started. Got some sun right in front of us. But it looks like a beautiful day. We just cleared the rock scramble, and now we have this nice sloping terrain going for a few kilometers, it looks like. So our GoPro battery died, so we didn't record a lot of the big climb that we just did, but we're up over 14,000 feet now.
So there's no vegetation, just rocks. Barely.
Just rocks.
And chipmunks that I'm feeding with a muffin that I don't care for.
Dad is feeding the chipmunks. I'm taking a snack break, so we'll see who has more energy at the end of the day. Yeah, so we've gone for 2 hours. We got about 4 more hours to go. Fortunately, it looks like we got a lot of the rocky stuff behind us because it wears on your knees. Give you a shot of where we're going. The mountain's now hidden behind some clouds, but you can see a line of porters that are ahead of us, like little ants, walking down that dirt path. And then in between that first hill and before the mountain, you'll see the lava peak, so we're going over towards that.
Pretty rocky.
Yeah.
Hi, we're by Lava Tower, which means that we've gone
Few thousand feet. We are just under 15,000 feet right now. Lava Tower is the one between our two heads.
And a number of other tour groups from 2 different trails are meeting up near here. Kilimanjaro's over here to my right.
Dad must be getting some sort of climber's high. He's disregarding pole pole and marching on ahead at a pretty fast clip. So we'll see how he's feeling when we get to the peak elevation for the day. Making our way back down to camp. It's pretty steep. Small waterfall. You can see one of the cliffs we just came down. That's not even from the high point. There's a couple other cliffs beyond that we came down. Day 3 done.
Very done.
We mentioned earlier it was 1,000 meters up, and then we were at that lava tower. Then it was 1,000 meters down, and I shot a quick clip to show you what it looked like. And I was telling Dad right before we turned the camera on, I think the way I would describe that downhill of 1,000 meters that we just did as offensively rocky, unnervingly steep, and unceasingly long. It took us hours to get down that. Hours.
It wasn't that far of a distance, unfortunately, but it was a rough descent.
Yeah.
Glad to be off the loose moving rocks.
Day 4 about to get started.
Breaking camp.
After climbing down that valley yesterday, we've got what I would say is probably the most visually daunting climb so far. We're climbing up that cliff right there, and then on our way to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel good. Slept well. It rained last night. Prayed hard for it to stop. Right now I'm grateful that it's just low cloud cover, but we're not standing here wet. That would make the climb muy difícil.
Yeah, no, we're wrapped in plastic here, though, in case the rain starts back up. See you at the top of the cliff. You can see the folks in the distance that have got to the cliff before us, working their way up like colorful little ants. We'll be with them soon. Michael, the Billy Goat Coffee.
Traffic jam, Kilimanjaro style.
Eyes feel.
Don't let anyone doubt that we did some climbing today. Started at that camp way over there, went down to that river, and then up this steep cliff. But we did it.
We went by the Kissing Rock, which meant you were clinging to it so close that you might as well get to know it up close and personal.
Yeah, I thought about you during it, baby. So we've made our way down from the wall. We're gonna hike up another cliff here in a second. But we're feeling good, right?
For an old man, I'm feeling great.
Yeah. For those of you that are wondering why we keep saying pole pole, it means slow, slow. That's what the guides tell us. And if you're wondering what slow, slow looks like, it looks like this. Hey. So we came down that tall cliff in the distance all the way to the bottom, and now we've climbed back up. We've got this incredibly picturesque view. You can see the shadow of Mount Meru way back there behind the clouds. How we feeling, Dad?
So far, so good.
So far, so
good. The guides have not yet told me no more climb for you, so that's a good thing.
Yep. We're making our way down this valley here and then back up on the other side to get to the camp for the night. So One final push for the day.
The camera simply cannot capture what it's like up here, being able with the eye to see through some of the clouds down below.
So we made it to base camp for day 4. We're feeling in much better spirits than we were at the end of day 2 or 3. Day 2 was just long. It was a lot of miles. Day 3 was just painful.
Yes, it was a real whoop-a-thon, and we were the ones who were getting whooped.
Day 4, though, I mean, it was intense. There was a lot of steep uphill and downhill, but there was a real sense of accomplishment. I think we're both feeling pretty good. And it wasn't that long a day. 5 hours of total trekking time, and so we're at base camp pretty early.
Maybe we're getting acclimated. One can hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Breaking camp, about 7 a.m. Going to be climbing again today. Looking a lot closer, more doable each and every day, a little higher.
It's a beautiful day, and so it should be a good day hiking, we hope. Tall, but a good day.
Yeah. I like the Energizer Bunny on these hills.
Simple hiking when you only have one direction to go, up.
So we're going to be camping on that side of the little plateau. And then the next day, hiking on up. One more tall wall ahead of us today. And then just a little bit further onto the camp. So we're pretty close. Feeling good, guys?
You're doing very good.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Now the steep stuff commences. But almost there. Pulley, pulley. We're at our base camp for the summit. We've got our official anthem for this trek plane, Beatles Across the Universe. We've been playing it a lot of days when we get back to the tent.
It's a reward.
Yeah. We're feeling good. It was some steep, slick, rocky stuff today, but we managed to scramble up it. But it was a short day. I mean, we left at 7:30, something like that, and we got here at 11. So it was a short day, so we're just going to rest, gorge ourselves on food and water to fight the altitude sickness, and then we leave at 11:30 tonight to summit. So fingers crossed, we're talking to you again in the sunrise light at the top of the mountain. Summit day.
And it's early. I guess it's around midnight right now. We're slowly eating a plate of biscuits, which is kind of an English cookie, and trying to
Slow down coffee.
Yeah, forcing a little bit of liquid and some food. Got a 6-hour climb ahead of us, most of it in the dark, but it's exciting to be this close to the end.
Yeah. All right. See you up there. On our way. Climbing these sort of rocks for the past half hour, something like that. I don't even know if you can tell with my headlamp. We're like 7 hours in. The sun is finally starting to show. Whatever idiot thought it was smart to hike up in the dark for 7 hours is wrong. But we're getting close to the top. It is steep, and I'm having to make oxygen choices, so this is going to be a short video. We're getting there, but nobody can manage more than a couple steps at a time with this little oxygen, so it's slow going. It almost killed us, but look at us now.
Stella Point, sunrise coming through. Thank you, Amani. Thank you, Bragon. Thank you, Nick.
The sun coming up from Stella Point. We made it, just barely. It's entirely thanks to the guides.
I agree. I'll give them all the credit.
Dad's standing strong already. These two aren't even phased. They're not even breathing heavy. He's dancing. Our final push on to Uhuru Peak.
I wanted to have a picture in front of these glaciers. Some people say they won't be here in 5 years, so decided they used to run.
But they're not going to last more than 3 years now.
3 years now?
They're going to be finished.
There used to be a solid wall of glaciers all the way through here.
We made it.